What is going on, everyone? Okay, so now to continue on with the tutorial, we're now going to be adding the menus and titles. So for that, we're going to go ahead and create a new folder. We're going to double click on this folder and we're going to call it menu titles. Inside here, we're going to go ahead and press Control: to bring up our little shapes and stuff and whatnot. And we're going to go ahead and type home. Now, as far as fonts, nothing particular that we need, but I'll go with a font that I know for sure everyone will have, which is Arial right here. We're gonna go ahead and switch this to around 16, 17 points. Bring this, that's my dog. Then to 50 right here. All right, something like that. Let me zoom in so we can see it a little bit better. We're gonna go ahead and click on it, and we're gonna switch this over to white. We can see it. There we go. That's pretty good. And I center it right there. We're gonna go ahead and click here and just put a couple of okay. But before I put a couple of spaces, I'm gonna make sure that this is set to left align, and then put this back right here. And now I can go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, 4 right around there. About us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Portfolio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Services. 1, 2, 3, 4. Contact us. There we go. That's pretty good. Now we're going to add a shape. So we're going to grab this rectangle tool. Before we do anything, we're going to double click here. Go ahead and change the color over here to FB5255. It's kind of like reddish color. And we're just going to go ahead and drag from the top down to the bottom. And then just put it underneath our layer right here. And we're just going to, I did it slightly wrong here, but I'm going to press Control-T to fix it. And just make sure that it starts there. Kind of perfectly combine it within these boxes. And then we're going to go ahead and add our icons. Now for the icons, I have them all separate. So I'm going to be adding them like little by little. But I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Place for now. And then we have our Instagram. Just press OK. Now I'm just going to leave them all the same size for now. So File, Place. I'm going to go ahead and add Facebook. Okay, press OK. File and Place. I'm going to add Twitter. And then File and Place. And I'm gonna add Instagram, it's Facebook, Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest is good. And then YouTube, I believe, is the one I haven't added. Snapchat. I'm not sure. Did I add YouTube? I don't remember. I'm gonna go ahead and add YouTube and press OK. So now that I have all these right here, I can hold Shift to select all of them. Press Control-T and just hold Alt. When you're going to resize them, just hold Alt. And that'll allow you to like bring it down to scale. And so we want to put it up here in this little area here. But we don't want them to be too big. So we're going to resize them to where they can fit right in between all of this. We're gonna make them a little bit smaller here, and then one by one just kind of start bringing this out. And then the order that you decide to put them in is completely up to you, whatever you feel is more important. and then one more. Oh, that's the last one. All right, so now we have all of those, and I want them to fit inside here. So I can probably make these a little bit bigger. And when you resize them, don't press shift anymore. Photoshop changed that, so you want to keep them just like that. So now we have this. Hey, not too bad. That actually looks pretty good. I'm going to make sure that this is kind of like evenish. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so that's good. And we'll leave them right there. Okay, so as we continue on, let's move forward. Let me go ahead and remove this real quick. And I'm going to group all these guys right here. So make sure they're all highlighted, right? Press Control G. We're going to title these social media. And then you can leave this little folder inside the menus, or you can put it outside the menus. So, oops, it's still inside. So let's drag it all the way out. There we go. So now we have menus, social media, and background, which is what you should have as well. And I'm actually gonna rename this. Instead of menu titles, I'm gonna name this navigation, because we might actually use those later so that we can navigate to different places of the web and whatnot. And so now we're gonna go ahead and start typing. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is go ahead and start typing here. I'm gonna bring up my guides again, hit the letter T right here, just click. And I'm gonna type, you guys can type your last name or first name, I guess, whatever you prefer. And make sure, as right now, me for example, I'm noticing that all my letters are in capital letters. So I'm gonna change that. I'm going to bring up my text properties, which is right here. And there should be under advanced this thing right here for me that shows all caps. I don't want that. I want it to be just like that. And highlight it. I'm gonna switch the size over to around 74 pixels. And then if you don't already have something that's in cursive, we might need to download one, but this one looks pretty cool. And I think I'm gonna go with Gonzalez. I think that looks way better. Yeah, Gonzalez. And so I just want to like fit this to be right inside the center between 8.5 to 12.5. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, right around there. That's perfect. So the font that I'm using is called Bellsmore Brush. You can just Google that and find one, or check if you have any cursive fonts already in your computer. If not, we can download some later. So after this, we're gonna go ahead and type with so right here it's completely, if your computer has them. If it doesn't, then we will have to do something else. But we're gonna go ahead and type I am designer. This one I'm doing it in all caps. I'm gonna do Franklin Goth Medium, just like that. And now notice how in mine it's like kind of overlapping the text, and that's not what I want at all. So what I'm going to do here is right here on this ace, if you don't see this, by the way, you can go to window and choose characters, and that will open up this one right here, and you should be able to see all your settings and whatnot. And so for this guy, I want it set to auto. Maybe not auto. Oops. Instead of that, let's go with like let's do 55. That looks pretty good. And we're gonna center that. And I kind of wanted to see if I have something more bold than that. Franklin Goth medium. No, let's try Nexa bold. I like this one. Yeah, Nexa bold looks pretty good. And so I'm gonna want it to land right between this one here and right around here, just like so. And I think I'm actually gonna spread this out. Instead of 44, let's go to like 48. Yes, just like that. That looks pretty good. And then with the same font, the Gonzalez font, I'm gonna go ahead and just select Gonzalez and then put Control J to make a copy of it and drag my copy down here. And I'm gonna type I make, well, let's do it like this, make wonderful things. Let's go ahead and do that and see where we can locate this. Let's zoom out a little bit. Make this a lot smaller. And just put it underneath the I am designer. I'll put this right around here. So the main reason why we want to like work with these is because we can actually keep everything aligned correctly. And so for this one, I want to keep it between this first line and then end it right as it's getting to the E. That looks pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my rectangular marquee tool and come from this corner right here and just select them all like that. Select both of these. I am a designer and I make wonderful things. Grab my move tool and you should see these options up here that will allow me to align to center. There we go. So that's now aligned. Control D, and that's perfect. That's what I want. Now, here's where things can get a little bit confusing because it's not what I'm used to typing. It's not how we're used to typing, but we're going to create a type box. The reason why we're doing a type box is because we want to have like a paragraph that we're going to add. And if we just select the letter T and start typing, it's just going to keep going on forever, and that's not what we want. So what we're going to do is select the letter T. And we're going to come right here to around this little area, and we're going to drag down over to this area right here. So keeping it in a nice little compact area. And it adds everything here. So for this one, we're going to go back to Arial, with Arial regular. And we're going to make this be about, let's see how 17 looks like. 17, and then switch this to auto. Okay, so 17 auto. I'll put this at 25 and make sure it's centered. Yes, we also want to make sure we don't have hyphenates. So under paragraph, we're going to remove hyphenates. There we go. So that looks pretty good. And this is just like random text. This can actually be corrected later and just kind of give it a little bit of space right here in between it so it's not all together. And then next we're going to go ahead and grab the rectangle tool right here. But instead of just creating a rectangle, we're going to go up to this little cogwheel. We're going to click on fixed size and we're going to add right here, we're going to add 145 px by 40 px. I'll just press enter right there. So now when we create the rectangle, just going to give us the exact size, right? We want it red. And we're just going to kind of put this to be kind of centered. So grab it here and something like that. Perfect. Then we're gonna go ahead and grab the type tool, click out here and just put read more. Maybe for this one we can select Arial, to Arial bold, and then just kind of bring it over here. Select both of them, maybe drop them down just a little bit, just like so. Okay, so from here what we're going to do is we are going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to go ahead and grab from where it says read more all the way to I make wonderful things. Just hold shift, right? We're just going to drag these a little bit more down. It's a little bit more centered right here. That looks pretty good. Then we're going to go ahead and just kind of tweak this a little bit. So I make wonderful things. Let's move it down a little bit. The text, let's move that down just a little bit more. This guy's right here, we're gonna move him down just a little bit more. I'm designer, move that up just a little bit. That looks pretty good. So the rectangle and read more, you can select both of them and press Ctrl G. We're gonna turn that into button and leave it at like that. We're just gonna drag this down and close to the social medias. And then we're going to go ahead and grab where it says Gonzalez all the way to the text right here. Press Ctrl G and let's group that and call that header. Perfect. Now we have header right here, button right there, social media right here, navigations, and background. Perfect. That's what we want right here. And when we zoom out a little bit here, we press Control and colons. This is what we currently have so far. So far, this is looking pretty good. It still needs a little bit of work, but overall, it's coming together nice and neat. And from here, we can actually, later on, once we're finished the whole site, start making it functional and workable. I do see a little bit of a mistake here, though. So I'm gonna go ahead and head to header and go to where it says Gonzalez, highlight it, grab my marquee tool and just make a rectangle all the way across, just like that. With that, I'm going to grab my move tool and then just put center. There we go. Now it's centered and I can put Control D to deselect, and then that looks way better. Close my header right here and let's continue. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the body part of the website, down here towards the bottom. Division 2, and we're going to go ahead and grab our type tool, make sure we have Arial selected. We're going to go with Arial regular for this. We're just going to go ahead and type and put creative and professional. Now for some reason on mine it can't be seen, so let me drag this down or up to the top. Let me erase that again because it didn't work. There we go. Creative and professional. We're gonna go ahead and just delete the space right here and put that. Control A, make sure they are left aligned. And then head over to character and set auto. I don't know why this always like readjusts itself, but instead of auto, let's do about 24, no, 48, 60. And the thing is that once I make it small, that number changes again. So what I want to do is set this to around, let's see, 23, and then put this at 20 points. Make sure this is at 25. This is, I mean, normally this shouldn't happen. I'm not sure why it like auto corrects, or it doesn't like just auto put itself in the correct spot, I guess you could say. All right, so also while holding T, we're going to select this. And instead of white, we're going to go ahead and switch this color. So the color, we're going for a gray. You can choose whatever gray you want, or just, copy the color scheme. There you go. And as far as the location of where this is going to go, we're just going to go ahead and move this so that it's touching this line. And around here is fine. You know, somewhere still above the picture, but you know, below our second division. And then after this, we're gonna go ahead and add another type box. So we're gonna select the letter T. Let's start the type box somewhere around here. Let's bring it over to it's like all the way this way like that. And we're just gonna let it go ahead and add all this text here. There is a way to add more than what's currently there. So let me go ahead and fix that. So under paragraphs, just make sure we remove hyphenate. And in here, we can go to type, paste, there we go. Well, actually, let me erase all that. Type and then paste lorem. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and let's kind of copy all this. Go to characters, put this at like 17. Something like that. Let's go ahead and break it apart here. Just like so. On anything too drastic, but something like that's pretty cool. Creative and professional, we're gonna go ahead and move that and put it over here. Okay, so after we have this, what we're going to do is we're gonna go ahead and select our button right here. We're gonna go ahead and put Control J. That's gonna make a copy of our button. We're just gonna drag it up here so that it can be with our text. We're gonna drag this down here so that it can be able to land right here with this. We're gonna go ahead and click on this guy and maybe make this just a little bit longer, just like so. And then make creative, creative professionals just right there. Read more, the button. Make sure we drag the button over here. Perfect. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and grab creative professional. We're gonna make a copy. Also, I make copies by holding Alt, just in case you don't remember about that. I hold Alt and that's how I make a copy of it. Over here, I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna type our team. But instead, I'm gonna head over to paragraph and put it left align. And then just bring this guy right around here. Maybe a little bit right there. Perfect. And then I'm gonna grab my circle tool. Now I'll make 3 circles. Rough, I mean, size wise it doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure it's like about the same height as this. Let's see how well this turns out. Then we put a little bit of space between that and space between that. We're gonna select all 3, so hold the first one, then hold shift, press Control T. We're just gonna resize these so they're like the same, like we want it to like match up with the button. Press OK. We're gonna drag this a little bit this way. That looks pretty cool. And then we can double click, put them set to white. Cool. So now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and get the type tool. We're gonna go ahead and type here and put name, surname. Or let's put this in all caps lock. Name, surname. Right, so like last name, right? That's what it means. And then here, character, we'll put this at like 17. And we'll put this in our bold lettering. Then press enter. And then we're gonna type in here with regular. Put this at like 15 and type manager. Then press enter. And then just type like we can leave it like that, that's fine. And so we're gonna put this here, make sure it's like lined up with this line, and try to get it to where it lands kind of in the center of the circle. Do the same thing for this one, hold Alt, make a copy. And for this guy, That one's fine. For this guy here, we're gonna put graphic designer. And for this guy, we're gonna put web designer. And then this is where we're gonna start adding those pictures that we have of the specific people. So for example, we're going to go to File and Place. And we're going to grab man. Enter. We're gonna go. Whoa. Where's my last circle? My last circle needs to be up here. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do. This is the first circle. We're gonna go to File and Place. We're gonna grab man and place it. All right. Now we're gonna create a clipping mask. So right click, create clipping mask. And just Control T and just hold Alt. So you can resize him and you want to show a little bit of the notebook, not too much. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Press OK. Then you head over to the next one, select it, go to File, Place, and then for this one we're gonna add. I don't remember if it was before, I guess. Is that correct? Yeah. We're gonna right click and create clipping mask. Control T, and then we're gonna hold Alt and make it smaller. Add her in here. Right there, that's perfect. And then select the last one, File and Place. And we are going to select Brazil and put place. Press OK. Right click, create clipping mask. And we're Control T, hold Alt. We're gonna put him right here, just like so. And I'm using my arrow keys to kind of move them around. All right, cool. So now that we have that, now that we have this right here, we're gonna go ahead and select everything that we just made. So all the way down to our button copy. We're gonna put Control G, and then we're gonna name this div, because that's like one of our divisions, right? And then we can zoom out and kind of see what we have here. So this is what we've been doing so far. Pretty good so far. And then we'll just finish it up. Okay, so now that we've done this, we're just going to continue and we're gonna work with the bottom section. So division, the last little division that we have here. We're gonna go ahead and grab the letter T right here. Just go ahead and click. We're gonna type selected work, highlight it, double click on the red and just click on this color right here so we can select the same color. We're gonna go ahead and put that right here and open up our word bank, our guides right there. Make sure this is set to black. We're just gonna go ahead and put this here, touching each side, just like that. Perfect. Then we're gonna go over here and select our rounded rectangle tool, and in radius we're gonna go ahead and type 5 for radius. Open up the cog wheel and put fixed size, and we're gonna put 110 to 30. And then we're gonna go ahead and just click in here to make a circle. Oh, make one of these rectangles. Cancel real quick. There we go. If you get that little message, just go ahead and press OK. We're gonna go ahead and put this guy to be right around here so that it's touching this line. We're gonna make a copy and have it just skip one. Then we're just gonna match it up to all the others right there. We have 4. Then we're gonna grab the type 2 and we're just gonna type in here all. Make sure this is set to this little red right here. Bring that in here. Well, we're gonna switch this over to this gray. Perfect. And selecting the first rectangle right here and this one, we can go ahead and align this so it's centered. Perfect. Then we're gonna go ahead and just bring this over this way, put it on top, and we're gonna switch this to say web design. We're gonna have to change the sizing of all this, so we're gonna go back to just bold. We put this at 10. So select both of these, center and center, and then put this to bold and set this to 10, and then select both of those, center and center. Whoops, there we go. And then now we're going to Control J, put that on top of this and bring it this way, and we are going to type in logo design. Oh no. Also, don't forget to save. I just accidentally saved by myself. Logo design. Oops, design. Make sure you select both of those. Come here and here. Perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and do it one more time. Control J. Bring that up here and bring it on this side. And we're going to go ahead and call this one branding. Perfect. That looks pretty good to me. We're now going to select all of them. So holding shift. And we're just gonna kind of center this out a little bit. Right there. That looks pretty good. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna go ahead and make a rectangle. But check the appropriate size here. Okay. So for this rectangle, we're going to go ahead and go to a regular rectangle. Make sure our cogwheels unconstrained, right? We can pretty much do as we please. And we're going to go from this line right here down to this particular line right here. Just make a rectangle, give or take like that. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our move tool and grab that exact rectangle, make a copy of it, and just attach it over to this side. It should land exactly where they're at. Then you can grab both of them and then just hold Alt and move them straight down, just like so. Perfect. And then this will allow us to go to File and Place. And it will allow us to install, or not to install, but to place images into the rectangles. So let's go ahead and File and Place. I'll create clipping mask, my bad. I'll make this image a little bit smaller. I don't currently have any other images that I can use, but I'll go ahead and provide you guys with some images. All right, so I have here 4 images. I can either provide you the same ones or I'll probably give you different ones. It doesn't really matter. We just need to make sure that we have some images right here. Perfect. These are like filler images, right? And so we're gonna go ahead and resize this one. A little bit smaller right there. And then our last image, which is this one right here. Right there. Now, the thing about this one is that we're gonna actually turn these images into black and white. So we're gonna go ahead and go here, go to hue and saturation, and then just desaturate this particular images. And we're gonna grab all this and then just group it. We're gonna call these 4 images. And we are going to right click and create a clip mask just to those particular images. And leave it as so, then group that, or just leave it like that. And so there's that. And then if we zoom out right here, this is what we currently have. So pretty good so far, guys. Right here would be a perfect time for us to save, and we call this the end of part 2. And then later we'll continue working on the rest of the bottom portion, and then we'll find out how we can actually edit this whole thing so that it can work in Adobe Dreamweaver. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.